Hey guys, today's video is just going to be about like random bits of sales, January sales, kind of tips and tricks of like what I've seen around and the best way to like attack the sales. There's going to be another video I'm going to probably do Christmas Eve, just about like the key pieces I'd say to invest in for next season that will see you right through to possibly autumn winter of 2011. So yeah, check that video out as well. But right, first tip would be the refund policy. Make sure you know the refund policy of the actual store you're buying something from, because each store has a totally different refund policy. And also, so make sure you know how long you've got to return, exchange, or get a credit note for the item. Also, make sure that the policy applies to the garment you're buying. So for example, I bought a scarf the other day and I just mentioned about returning something, and she turned around and said to me, they don't do refunds on scarves or exchanges or anything, which I found a bit weird. But yeah, so just make sure you know that as well. Also, make sure it applies to this sale item, because some stores that I've worked in before, the sale item return policy and the like full price item return policy are two different things. So just double check that, because you know the sale policy throughout the year, when it comes to sale time, especially January sales, they can kind of be a bit shrewd and change it up without you knowing. And then if you don't want it, you're kind of stuck. I'd say I know a lot of people don't really like trying stuff on just because the queues, the change rooms are always so intense. So maybe when you go into a shop, just check with a sales assistant what the best, like what their policy is, so that you know before you're picking up an item and taking it to the till and like queuing up all that time, that you can actually return it at the end of it. So that's refund. That's the main thing I'd say keep like an eye on. The second thing I would say would be, if you want to invest in a designer piece, this is the time to do it. But go for something classic. Don't just do something that's on trend. And make sure it's a designer you like. For example, I probably wouldn't bother going to like a Gucci sale or a Prada sale, just because they're not the kind of designers I'm into. Go for designers that you know in years to come, and pieces that you know in years to come you're still going to want to use. So for example, for me, I want to get some Jeffrey Campbell shoe boots, like an Alexandra Wang dress if I can, like that kind of stuff. Try websites such as theoutnet.com, My Wardrobe, and also Net-a-Porter, just for like sales. So yeah, just that'd be my idea. But then I'd say that leads me on to the third point. I wouldn't bother buying a knit bag, just because come February you're going to have another knit bag from about 5 different designers, with like another knit bag coming out in say September. So there's no point, I think, buying a knit bag unless you actually are in love with a bag, you know you're going to want it, and you're not just buying it because it's a knit bag. Otherwise you're just wasting your money. Fourthly, don't just buy an item because it's cheap. I've made that mistake a lot, and I end up having stuff that I might wear once just because I'm like, oh well, I bought it, I'll wear it, and I never use it again. So make sure it's an item you want. The kind of thing that I'm following at the minute is the whole, I've made a list of the kind of items that I know I need and that I want to invest in, and I'm kind of keeping that in mind when I'm searching. Yeah, there's certain things that I might come across that I really like that take my like fancy, but I'd say just make sure that you know you've got the use coming up for it. The one exception to that rule I would say would be dresses. If you find a really classic, nice dress that you can use for like events such as like people's birthdays, or like even for like dinners or like engagement parties or wedding receptions, etc., you might as well invest in them, because when it comes to the time of it, half the time you don't have the time to buy a dress for the event, or you just can't find what you're after. So if you really do genuinely see something that you're in love with, then that's probably the one time I'd say grab it while it's cheap. That leads me then on to like the fifth point, which is, if you really like something and you know it's really good and the quality's actually alright, I'd just buy it. I wouldn't wait for further markdowns, because that's where you run the risk of losing the item. So, and the thing is, normally when an item goes into sale, it's not going to come back in again. So just like, if you really like it, just invest the money in it. And yeah, like I'd say generally just don't buy something just because it's in sale. You've got shops like Primark and places like boohoo.com who are consistently cheap, so really you're always going to find cheap items throughout the year that are consistently on trend. um, and one little personal tip I would say would be just check out eBay, just because around this time of year you have loads of people who have like unwanted Christmas gifts, etc. And I think you sometimes have people who do just bulk buy stuff in the sale, so you might find something that you were looking for online that you didn't before. A lot of people have like a buy it now price, so you can just buy it at say £20, or you can go into the bidding. The only thing with the bidding is it might go above the £20 buy it now price, and then you're kind of stuck consistently bidding for something that someone might want to pay like £80 for. A bit random. So yeah, I would say those are my tips. Hopefully they've kind of given you like an insight into like how you can get the best out of your sale shopping. And yeah, I will post the other video on Christmas Eve, so good luck with the sale shopping. I know River Island, Dorothy Perkins and a few other places have already started online, so check those sites out, and I will see you all in the next video.